Okay, Mary, tell us a little about yourself. You were born in Ballytarson. Your maiden name is?
Butler.
Okay.
My dad was James Butler and Mam was Ellen. She was Taylor from Ballyhinch.
Ballyhinch. And you moved to Clonoulty when you were 5 years of age?
Yes, we moved to the parish of Clonoulty, Rossmore to Rossmore at about 5.
At 5, okay. Why would you have moved here?
Well, I suppose at the time, I think Dad had small portions of land and they were far away from each other in Dwella and Ballytarson and Rossmore. He decided to come, maybe the land was all together, even though it was still a small farm, I'm sure, at the time, you know.
Okay. What was it like? Do you remember as a 5-year-old moving? Do you remember?
I do. Would you
What was it
believe
like?
that?
What was it like to move?
I remember, the one thing I can remember is a big lorry and sitting in the front seat, and Tommy Croke, who's from Ballytarson, a neighbour of Daddy's, he was with us, you know. So I'm sure all the furniture, bits and pieces were in the container, you know. I remember going to school. My sister Anne was only a year younger than me, so I think I was kept back maybe till I was nearly 5.5 or going on 6. The way the two of us could go together to school.
Okay.
And I had sister Helen as well.
Okay. 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 As a child, what kind of games did you play? Play together.
Yeah, well, we played hopscotch in school. I remember the hopscotch, and we also the skipping rope.
Yeah.
But I remember with my friend, I had only one girl in my class going to school, Dolores Gorman, and we used to play shop. I remember out in an outhouse, they had a shop, so she'd have lots of containers, and I remember that vividly, and it was lovely, you know.
Okay, okay. What was it like growing up in Rossmore at that time?
It was lovely. It was really lovely. I suppose what I remember mostly, especially coming from school, was the warm weather. You know, you take off your shoes and you could walk along, you know, whereas now we have such cold weather and everything, you know.
Okay. Do you remember anything else fondly about growing up in Rossmore? The weather and...
The neighbours and that. We had lots of neighbours around.
Were your neighbours supportive and friendly and...
Oh, very much so. Very much so. I can remember Mum and Dad, you run out of a bit of sugar or something, you know, and you'd call on your neighbour.
And would your neighbours...
They always helped each other out. Daddy would always be going to help somebody, you know.
And would your neighbours help you at harvest time, making the hay
and combine harvester? That was a great day when they came to trash, you know,
right.
And with all the neighbours in, and it was kind of like a party.
Tell us a bit about that, Mary. Tell us about what you did.
Well, I remember Mammy. She was wonderful to cook, and she, you know, there was always plenty of food around. And what I loved when we were coming from school was she did apple tarts over the open fire, you know, and you'd have to put the cinders up on top of it to keep it hot, and the treacle would even flow out with the tart. It was something I remember vividly, you know.
And would your mum have helped milking the cows?
Oh gosh, she would.
Okay.
She would.
She'd be involved.
I remember one time we were up in the meadow doing the hay, and you know the 2-pound fork.
Yes.
And we're putting it down. Didn't I put it down and go right through my foot?
Your own foot?
My own foot.
Right.
Oh, I remember they carried me, and then to get a bottle of what was it called?
Oh, yes, Coen.
Yes, the red, and pour it into it. Came right out the other side.
Okay, okay. You survived anyway.
I survived.
You survived, you did indeed. Do you remember the local fairs, Mary, the fair days?
Well, I remember Daddy going to the fair,
okay.
Go to Capawhite.
Capawhite was the local one?
Yes, Capawhite was our local one, and it was a big day preparing for it and bringing the cattle and, you know, or whatever they bring there to drive them along the road, you know, at times.
They got up early that morning?
Very early, very early.
I'd say in Rossmore, in the general area, how have things changed? How have you seen things change over the years since you first came here?
Yes, well, I suppose when I was growing up, the mothers were always in the house, whereas now people have to go out to work. Everything has gone so different, and you were able to live off the farm or off the land, or you know, or else people worked, you know.
Right.
That whereas now everything is so costly.
Okay.
It's very important that 2 people go out to work if you're rearing a family.
Yes.
You know. But whereas before people kind of helped each other out a bit more, we're inclined to we haven't time for people now. Is this what it is? We're all rushing or something.
Okay, yeah.
Don't know now, really.
No, that's
Life
fine.
has changed that way.
Talk a little bit about the kinds of food you would have eaten when you were young, Mary.
The pig. I remember the pig being killed, and I remember the battle in the parlour, and especially the night it was killed, and the making of the puddings or what you'd have that night or something, the sausages or. You know, that was a great occasion too.
Did you help making the puddings?
I did help in the kitchen.
So you gathered the blood, and what would you have mixed in with the blood for the stuffing for the puddings?
God, now you'll be asking me what she mixed in, but she made it and I know I enjoyed eating it.
Okay,
it was
absolutely.
lovely.
More important.
Lovely, yes.
And did you smoke the bacon on the hook over the fire and that kind of stuff?
To be up over the fire, hanging up, and to be very salty looking, you know,
Right.
to be left there for a long time.
Right. Okay. Okay. Do you remember any stories told to you when you were young by your mother? Any stories that you can remember?
Yes. Well, yeah, Mammy should be always chatting to us, but I had an aunt, my mother's sister.
Tell us about your, yeah.
And she lived in Ballynahinch, that's where they came from, but she married and she went to Scariff, but she lived with me for 9 years before she died, and she lived to be 100 years of age, almost 101. She was a great character, but she had us all under her thumb. She was strict.
Okay.
But she was good to help Mum and Dad, and helped her other sister, Auntie Molly, as well, and Uncle Paddy in Ballynahinch.
Used your aunt to tell stories?
She did, and I remember this story she told about the black and tans. One morning she was going to the creamery, and you know, that time you'd be sitting out at the side of it, and you'd have a bag with hay in it to make it soft, comfortable for yourself. And she was stopped at the black and tans, and they got her down and took the churns and everything down and looked into them. And she telling her they emptied all the straw out in the ground, every bit of it. But they picked it up again, she said, when they were finished, to let her go. And that morning they were all wondering what was wrong, because Peg was always first at the creamery, she said, and they were wondering. She was going to Ardmail Creamery at the time.
Creamery.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember Ardmail Creamery?
I do. It was a very busy spot, and the shop opposite as well, the stores.
Yes.
There, which was very popular, you know.
Where would you, from Rossmore, where would you
Well,
have
from
taken your
Rossmore now we wouldn't have gone there, we'd have gone to the creamery in Rossmore.
Rossmore
That was
Creamery.
My aunt Peg's, that's where she was going the morning, from Ballynahinch she was going there.
She was going there. The Coens would be noted musicians. Your sons would be,
That's
I
right,
suppose, nationally very famous and probably internationally.
I married Michael Coen, so I have 4 sons.
Yes.
Seamus, Micheál and Patrick.
And they're all musical.
Their dad got them all to get into music.
Okay. So you're giving the credit for the music to the Coen side, are you?
I am, I'm afraid I am.
What about the Butler side?
Well, the Butlers didn't have too much music in them, as far as I know.
Do you remember any songs that you would have learned back along? Just the names of them, Mary.
Yeah, the harp that runs through Tara's Hall. I
yes.
remember learning that,
Yes.
going to Rossmore School.
Yeah.
And myself, I used to sing, I remember when I was young, my Bridie Gallagher one, The Homes in Donegal.
The Homes of Donegal, yeah.
Yeah. Once called in to see you all, yes.
Yes. Did Matt Kennedy teach you?
He did. He did, and his daughter Maureen.
Maureen,
yes.
okay.
And Jojo Gleeson.
Jojo Gleeson, yes.
Mrs. Tracy now.
Yes. Was Mr. Kennedy cross?
No, Matty Kennedy, I didn't. I did get a slap once or twice from him when he produced the ruler, but no, I was happy with him.
Okay.
Lovely man.
Mary, religion is a big part of your life. You're quite a religious person, and you like to be involved in the choir, etc., in the churches.
Yes.
Okay. Could you make a comment on how religion has changed over the years in Rossmore?
Well, I suppose the faith, I got it from my mother. My mother had great faith, you know. I think the older people had, and I suppose what's wrong now is there's so much going on that the younger people haven't time, they think at times, but I feel it's a pity they haven't, because they need it in their lives, especially today. You know, you have to have a bit of time for God, I think, you know.
Yeah. and you would have gone through a lot of the priests in Rossmore, a lot of the priests.
Yes, indeed. I remember back, Father, gosh, when I came first, what was his name? I remember Father Fogarty, now
Yes.
big Father,
Yes.
Father James's cousin, Father
Yes.
Fogarty, and we had Father Brian, Father Littleton, Father Brennan.
Father Brennan. There was a priest with greyhounds. Was there a Father?
Oh, Father
Bannon?
Bannon.
Was
Did
it?
I
Do you
remember
remember
him?
it?
Yes, he actually was at my wedding, Father
Okay.
Bannon. He probably married me, and Father Fogarty were at our wedding, yes.
Mary, just two questions. Looking back in your lifetime now, what do you remember fondly? And the second part of this is, what do you remember maybe that not so fondly? What do you, looking back at your life to now, what do you remember fondly? What part of your life? Or
Yes, well, I was happy growing up and going to school, and I went to England for a number of years, which was a brilliant education. Even though I didn't go to university, I felt it was an education in itself, having travelled.
right, you worked in England. Did you?
I did,
Did
yeah.
you have to go? It was a kind of a need that you would have had to.
Well,
go?
I went. I was engaged to Michael, so
Right.
he was there, and I went for
You
a
went
number
over.
of years.
So love took you over.
Love.
Okay, and Mary, is there anything that you know, looking back in your life, that you found hard, that were tough times, or anything like that?
What I have to say, I suppose bringing up a family, you can have tough times,
Yes,
you can
yeah.
you have worries and anxieties,
Yeah, yeah.
really and truly, you know, but I'd like to think there were happier times rather than,
Absolutely, yeah.
you know,
yeah,
that's the
absolutely.
way
Good
I'd
times with
like
the-
to look
with the
back at
tough
my
times.
life
Yeah.
and thank God for the life I've had up to
Absolutely.
now, you know.
Okay, I'm finished, Mary. Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming in to do this
Lovely.
interview. Thank you very much.
very much, Tommy.